Welcome back to the deep dive. You know we love diving into these listener-submitted topics, and
Well,
today is no different. You sent us a cybersecurity news roundup,
yeah,
and wow, it's a lot to unpack.
it is. It's a real roller coaster ride of a roundup.
Yeah,
It really highlights how these cyber threats are constantly shifting,
yeah,
and they're really impacting every corner of our digital lives.
yeah. It definitely made me stop and think about my own online habits for
Yeah.
sure. Um, the first headline that jumped out at me was this staggering figure from Microsoft: 600 million cyber attacks every single day. To put
Wow.
that in perspective, just
Yep.
a few months ago, that number was 345 million.
Right.
It's just
Exponential growth.
yeah,
Mind-blowing.
it is. It's a sobering reminder of how cybercrime has unfortunately become an industry in itself. You know, what's concerning for individuals and businesses alike is the sheer scale of these attacks.
Right.
I mean, strong security measures are no longer optional. They're essential. Yeah, I mean, so we have this massive wave of cyber attacks happening daily. But what are they actually doing beyond, trying to steal our passwords and credit card info? This roundup mentions two Sudanese brothers who use ransomware to target U.S. critical infrastructure,
Right.
specifically a hospital and a school district.
Yeah. Targeting critical infrastructure is a disturbing trend that's been on the rise. Hospitals and schools. They often rely on older systems that are difficult to update,
Uh-huh.
which makes them prime targets for these types of attacks. But beyond the technical vulnerabilities, there's also the immense pressure to pay the ransom quickly to restore those essential services,
Right?
which makes them especially susceptible.
It's terrifying to think about the disruption and the potential harm that these attacks can cause. And speaking of tactics that send shivers down my spine, the roundup also mentions a new tool called EDR Silencer, which hackers are using to disable security software before launching their attack.
Yeah, EDO silencer. It specifically targets endpoint detection and response systems, or EDR. Many organizations rely on that for threat detection and response.
Right.
What's alarming about ED Silencer is that it essentially disables this crucial line of defense,
Wow.
making it much harder to detect and respond to attacks.
So it's almost like hackers are using a skeleton key to unlock all the doors before making off with the valuables.
That's a good way to visualize it. What ED Silencer really underscores is the need for a layered security approach.
Right.
If one layer like EDR is compromised, other security measures, like firewalls and multi-factor authentication,
Right.
can still provide protection. Think of it like having multiple locks on your door. Even
Yeah.
if one fails, the others are still there to secure your home.
It's all about having a safety net, so to speak.
Mm.
But here's a twist that I didn't see coming. The news about North Korean IT workers moonlighting as data thieves and extortionists.
Mm.
It seems like a serious case of biting the hand that feeds you.
It really does. This incident shines a light on the growing issue of insider threats, which can be particularly difficult to manage. You see, these are individuals who have legitimate access to systems and data,
Right.
and they exploit that trust for malicious purposes.
And I imagine those insider threats are tough to detect because they're coming from within the organization itself.
Exactly. Traditional security measures often focus on those external threats.
Right.
But insider threats, they require a different approach. Organizations need to implement robust security protocols, provide comprehensive employee training, and continuously monitor user activity for any suspicious behavior.
It's a constant cat and mouse game,
Mm-hmm.
trying to stay one step ahead of the bad guys.
Ah,
And this roundup really drives home the point that no one is immune, no matter how big or small. We've got Globe Life Insurance facing a data breach and a blackmail attempt, and even the Internet Archive, a nonprofit digital library, being hit with a DDoS attack,
yeah.
which can essentially cripple an online service.
Yeah, a DDoS attack or a distributed denial of service attack. It's like flooding a website with so much traffic that it collapses under the pressure.
Oh,
Imagine thousands of people trying to squeeze through a single door at the same time.
oh my goodness.
That's essentially what a DDoS attack does to a website or server.
So basically, no one is safe.
Yeah.
And to make matters worse,
Yeah.
the tactics are constantly changing. Mac users take note. The roundup mentions a new vulnerability in macOS, but thankfully, Apple has already released a patch.
Right. It's crucial to understand that vulnerabilities are constantly being discovered in software,
Right.
and attackers are always looking to exploit them.
It's like a game of whack-a-mole. As soon as you patch one hole, another one pops up.
Exactly. And that's why staying on top of software updates is so essential.
Right.
These updates often contain critical security patches